Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. Welcome to my class, Current Issues in English Language Studies, with me, Ridho. So I will be your lecturer this semester. Okay, so let us see what you're going through this semester. So for this meeting, I would like to introduce you to our course description and what current issues in English language studies are. Okay, let us start. All right, so this is our learning objective for today. Students can present topics of current issues in English literature, and this course will also help students to choose topics for their master's thesis. So for this meeting, besides introducing you to this course, I will also highlight a little bit current issues in English literature. Okay, so if you look at the screen, we have our outline. First, I'm going to explain to you about the lesson plan overview. Second, I'll give you lectures on introduction to current issues in English language studies, and you will have reading tasks and discussion, and the last will be evaluation. Okay, students, now I'm going to explain to you about our lesson plan. I will start with this course description. In this subject, students are introduced to current issues in English language studies. So the topic covers discussion and analysis of current issues in number 1, English literature, number 2, English linguistics, and number 3, English education, which covers several subjects. Okay, so students will also produce an essay as their final project based on chosen topics relevant to their academic and professional interest. All right, so talking about credit hours, in 1 week, you will have 4 credit hours, okay? And then in 1 semester, in total, we will have 16 weeks, which means that you will have 16 sessions of lecture and assessment. This is the timetable and topics of current issues in English language studies for 1 semester. Okay, if you look at the screen from meeting 1 until meeting 16, so meeting 1, you will have introduction to current issues in English language studies, which is this meeting. And next meeting, meeting 2, I will explain to you about current issues in English literature. And meeting 3 about current issues in English linguistics. Meeting 4 about current issues in English language education. In meeting 5 and meeting 6, you will have assessment of CLO 0.1, which is your presentations later on. We continue with meeting 7. You will have review papers on current issues in English literature. Meeting 8 will be review papers on current issues in English linguistics. And meeting 9 will be about review papers on current issues in English language education. In meeting 10, you will have assessment of CLO2, which is paper review. So basically, you will have to submit a paper review based on your chosen topics. And then we continue to meeting 11. In meeting 11, I'll introduce to you about sections of an academic paper. Yeah, and then meeting 12, literature review and methodology sections of an academic paper. And meeting 13 until 14, findings and discussion sections on academic paper. Meeting 15 about conclusion and references sections of an academic paper. So basically, from meeting 11 and 15, you will focus on writing an academic paper. It can be 2, conceptual paper, or systematic literature review. So basically, in meeting 16, you will have assessment of CLO 03, which is conceptual paper / SLR. So basically, you can choose whether you want to write conceptual paper, a conceptual paper, or SLR. Okay, I hope that this timetable and topics are clear enough for you, so then you can prepare what you have to face during the whole of the semester. Okay, now this is the thing that I need to remind you. I know you're master students, but then again, I need to state the do's and the don'ts, to you as a student in this semester. Okay, look, attendance, you must attend 80% of the session. This is a must, because this is the requirements from the university. You also have to wear proper polite semi-formal attire and a covered shoes during all the lecture session. you need to enter the class and be ready 10 minutes before the class starts and use formal English all the times during the class with me and with your friends. Remember, you're master students. You need to be able to exercise and use English all the time, especially in the class. All right. And in addition to that, we're going to choose one class coordinator who can help us later on to communicate and smooth all the transitions or all the things happen in the class. All right. So I want to create a WhatsApp group so we can, this will be our official channel of communication of all the members outside of the class, especially if you have some questions, for example, if you need suggestions after the class. So this official channel will be very helpful. All right, students? All right, so again, I have explained to you before in the timetables about 3 assessments, okay? So this I need to highlight once more that you have 3 assessments. First is presenting current issues in English language studies. You have to do it in pairs. So the presentation will be 20 until 25 minutes. That's what we call as CLO1. All right. And then assessment number 2 will be writing a review paper. It will be an individual. So basically you need to write around 1,500 words of review paper. So it will be your assessment number 2, or we call it as CLO2. And then the last one, you will write a conceptual paper or a systematic literature review paper. This is also an individual. So ensure it also ranges or approximately 1,500 words or 1,000 until 2,000 words will be all right. So that's our assessment number 3 or CLO number 3. So I hope that everything is clear for you in the beginning of the semester. So let us start with the references and reading. So this is your compulsory reading. So I hope that you can read all of the textbooks. So I will provide you with the textbooks, the soft copy, then you can, read at home or discuss with your friends. All right. So these are the references from Adolphs and Knights. It's about Handbook of English Language and Digital Humanities, published in 2020. Then from Sargent, Wings, and Pilaja, 2018. It's also about the Handbook of English Language Studies. And the last one is English for Writing Research from Warwick, 2023. However, you need to, remember that in this class, you will do a lot of reading. So I will recommend you some journal articles for your reading supplements later on. All right, students? Do you have questions? So I hope that everything is clear. If you have questions after the class, you can text in our WhatsApp group. Then I can respond directly through that channel. All right. So now I'm going to introduce to you about current issues in English language studies. Remember, in the beginning, I already informed you that these current issues of English language studies will cover 3 aspects. First is English literature. Second is English linguistics. And the third is English language education. So we'll start with current issues in English literature. Students, remember, actually, you're given freedom to choose your topic of interest, But then, if we look at the current issues in English literature, right now, these are the issues which are very popular, among researchers. Also, it also becomes the focus of the government. It also becomes the interest of the global communities. First is about English language and digital literacy. So everything related to literature and digital platforms, that's a very hot issues right now. And number 2 is about literature and gender. So literature and gender are also very current. But actually, even though this is not a new issue, but it still becomes, the talks in the academic world, especially when it deals with literary works. All right, that's about English literature. Now, when we talk about English linguistics, number 1, social media and English language. So these are the thing that becomes issues currently. Actually, it's been like after 21st century, so a lot of social media platforms like Twitter, for example, or Instagram, Facebook, and many, many things. People who involve in English language and linguistics, they are very interested and very keen to look at how social media, use or it impacts, yeah, to the society. So if you're interested in linguistics or language studies, so I think social media will be very great discussion later on. All right. And number two, this is also because of globalization, because of cross borders, pragmatics and cross cultural communication. Also, can be things that you can discuss later on in this class. Also, you can prepare for your later, yeah, for your thesis proposal if you're interested in pragmatics, cross-cultural communication, something, language and linguistics which are related to international communication, cross-cultural communication, international studies. So this will be very interesting discussion. Okay, that was about current issues in English linguistics. And next, here is the current issues in English language teaching. So ELT, it becomes, English as a foreign language, English as a second language, and conversation analysis, or how teachers interact in the classrooms, digital interactions to a lot of platforms like CMCs and all things. So this can be very interesting topics also for your research later on, because it becomes an issue, the use of artificial intelligence as well in English language teaching or in English language classrooms. Also teaching English to speakers of other languages. English is spoken in many, many different countries, in Asia, in Europe. So then like in Indonesian context, English as a foreign language, if you're interested to, further look at the situations of English language teaching in the Indonesian context or in other similar contexts. So I think that would be a great discussion. All right, so these are the current issues. So this is the thing that I want you to do after this. So actually, we want you to focus on these 6 issues, as this will help you to prepare a topic for your thesis early in the semester 1. So I think even though your thesis will be conducted later in the semester 3 and your proposal will be prepared later on at the end of the semester 2. So I think it can be very good brainstormings, and you can put in your mind if you're interested in one of the topics. So you can choose in semester 2 later on, and you will directly choose to focus on either number 1, literature, number 2, linguistics, or number 3, education. So I know you have something in your mind, and I hope that this can be related to your jobs. If you're a teacher, if you are principal, if you are professional, if you're human resources personnel in your office with different kind of backgrounds. So which issues are interested and relevant with your job and with your interest and also with the issues, I think that will be very great if you can do that for your thesis later on. Yeah, and prepare for your proposal next semester. All right, so I hope that everything is clear. Now we jump to the next discussion. So because everything is like digital thing, so I think I need to emphasize a little bit on English language and digital humanities as our discussion for today as well. So if you look at the screen, the study of English language has benefited significantly from advances in computer technology, even since 1960. So English language learning, English as a foreign language in relation to computer technology, it's been conducted like decades ago, yeah? And in 1960s, the first language corpora also became more widely available for people. And corpus creation and sharing, or corpus-based lexical studies and machine translation, were often categorized under the broader heading of humanities computing. So this can be very closely related to linguistics as well. Yeah, these are some notable exceptions where spoken language was recorded and transcribed in digital format. Videos, teaching and learning were recorded and transcribed in digital format and put in one database. So making these datasets available for annotation, search, and sharing. So these are the scenario from 1960s until today, in relation to like English language and digital humanities. Okay, and The early 21st century marked the arrival of multimodal corpora. So we move after 2000, a lot of corpora and the study of gesture and prosody alongside video capture and textual transcripts of spoken interactions at scale. So it becomes, more common right now. A lot of people produce or institution produce teaching videos or any kind of presentations, for example, and they look at the gesture, how gesture helps people communicate and strengthen teaching and learning, and how is spoken interactions at different scales, different contexts, different genre happen. So this becomes very interesting also, and a lot of platforms, digital platforms are available showing all of this. And the next is about research of corpus data as evidence and a range of in-depth case studies. So you can look at these case studies which illustrate how the various subfields of literature, linguistics, and education have evolved alongside digital technologies for language research and have started like born digital language in their own right, even though, as master students, some of you may be not that young, you're not from Gen Z or from millennials, but I think this discussion will help you at least a little bit in looking at how these, digital humanities or digital platforms can enhance or help or improve or facilitate learning in your context, all right, and help your works as professional teachers, human resource personnel, civil servants, English course owners, and so on and so forth. All right, so if you look at my discussion, I can say that there is an opportunity for S2 students, for master students to research literature, linguistics, and education using digital tools. So this can be considerations for you if you're going to connect your research, your studies, your discussion, looking at how it connects with digital tools. I think that will be a very great discussion later on. And they can include the types of data that are being used and the methods that are being applied to the interrogations of the data. So after this, we are going to look at some of the things that you can use or you can analyze, as master students. Now, you look at this. So involving English language with digital humanities in your studies later on, can mean that the primary data source that you will use, especially in relation to your study in English language department, So basically, you can look at digital literature collections and platforms, many available right now. Ebooks, web serials, digital interview transcripts, recording of speeches, newspapers and magazines, social media, photographs and video footage. So these can be your primary data source in your study later on, or in my class later on. You can look at studies which are related to this. All right, which also means that, for example, you can use secondary data that was from primary data, all right? And now when we talk about secondary data sources, if you're interested to look at the available source, you can visit, let's say, British Council websites on statistics of speakers of English as a second or foreign language in Asia, let's say. Or, for example, Indonesian Linguistic Society database on populations of minority ethnic groups in Indonesia, if you're interested in linguistics, let's say, or MOOCs, massive open online courses, data on learner engagement and digital literacy outcomes if you're interested on like online learning, English language teaching and learning through online platforms, or data sets from tools like Twitter or Facebook, analyzing discussions on digital literature and literacy trends. Let's say if you're interested in literature. So basically, you can look at these secondary data sources if you're interested. If you want to relate your, our language, or linguistics, literature, and English language teaching to digital worlds. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you some of the list of topics. Maybe you're interested in one of these. If you're not sure yet, so I want you to very carefully look and learn how these topics will work for you later on. All right, so these are for list of topics may be suitable for your thesis later on, for your discussion later on. First, we talk about in English literature. So you can look at let's say, representation of gender in digital literature, yeah, study of feminist themes in online fiction, or exploring gender roles in digital storytelling, yeah, comparative study of traditional and digital narratives, yeah, or digital poetry if you're interested in poetry, exploring form and functions in the age of hypertext, yeah, narrative structures in digital literature, a comparative study of ebooks and traditional novels, for example, yeah, themes of identity and self-representation in digital literature, a study of online autobiography. So these are some of very interesting topics which are very current, related to the current issues. If you try to deal, gender, literature, and technology in your thesis later on. Okay, so I hope that this will, at least trigger you to think and to consider about these topics, yeah, for your research later on. Now, when we talk about English linguistics, so these are list of topics that may be suitable for your thesis later on, yeah? So if you look at these one by one, I give you an example. Let's say language variation in social media. If you're interested in looking at social media, analyzing code switching among bilingual users in social media, okay? Or you can also look at the pragmatics of emoji use in digital communication, the implication for meanings and context. Or you can also look at politeness strategies in online discourse, pragmatic analysis of social media interactions, yeah, cohesions and coherence in digital text, a systemic functional approach to web content, or evaluative language in online reviews, and SFL analysis of consumer feedback. So these are the topics which are pretty current. Then if you're interested, then you can expand and look at these studies and how it fits to your interests and your expertise, of course. Yeah. Now we move to English language teaching. So this list of topics may be suitable for your thesis later on, for your research later on. Number one, you look at the screen, the role of digital tools in facilitating classroom interaction. So classroom interaction is always moving forward. It changes all the times, from traditional to digital based. So if you're interested in classroom interactions, facilitated by, digital tools, so this can be a very good topic, analysis of collaborative learning, all right? Or integrating social media into English language teaching. So, social media in the classrooms, how it benefits, and what are the challenges for language learners. So you can look into this as well. Or teaching writing, if you're interested in writing, if you teach writing in your respective schools, for example. So you can look at innovative strategies, yeah, in English as a foreign language classroom in digital platform, or the use of digital literature as a tool for teaching cross-cultural communication in senior high school. So, in this era, in digital era, our students sometimes, they have dreams to go overseas, to study overseas, to work overseas, to have friends from overseas. So I think this will be very good topics if you're interested in cross-cultural communication, yeah? Or assessing the impact of e-literature on reading comprehension. So if you want to connect literature, if you're interested in literature, if you're interested in teaching as well and reading, so in digital matters, so this will be very good sample of topics about it. Okay, all right, I think that's all my topics here, or my explanations about the topic. So after this, I want to give you a reading task and discussion, and after that a presentation. All right, so this is the instruction. This is an individual task. Yeah, please read carefully. You can do it at home. Even though this is an individual task, you can also ask questions after the class through the WhatsApp group, or you can discuss among your friends. But remember, again, this is an individual task. Number one, find one research article related to digital literature, linguistics, and English language teaching published between 2022 and 2024. So I want you to find the most current ones. Yeah, read the article and discuss in the class next meeting. All right, students, that's all the assignment that you have to do at home. So next meeting, we will discuss current issues in English literature. But before that, I want to hear the presentation, a short presentation from you. All right, thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. Have a great day. See you.